turn me down, just gonna turn me up, and then that's what's up. Area formulas. Area formulas. Hey guys, what's up? It's Miss Kearney here with the Kearney Math Show. Thank you all for tuning in today. On today's episode, we are going to be learning about just what you heard on the video, area formulas and perimeter formulas. Now, I know that some of this, actually a lot of this today is going to be a review for you guys. So I think you guys are going to do an awesome job. We're going to be focusing on the area and perimeter of specifically triangles and trapezoids. So before we get started, you've already gotten your table of contents. That should already be filled in. So let's go ahead and write at the top of this entry number 1. We're starting with a brand new clean binder for our unit. So go ahead and write entry number 1 and read your learning goal to yourself. All right, so our learning goal is by the end of today, I want you guys to be able to explain, if someone wasn't here today, how to find the area and perimeter of two-dimensional figures with an emphasis on triangles and trapezoids. So let's just do a quick refresher. This is just a review from last year. What is the difference between perimeter and area? Because sometimes we get those two confused. So what is the difference between area and perimeter? Okay, so I hear some of you thinking and saying maybe that perimeter is the distance around a 2D figure. You're exactly correct. It's the distance around that two-dimensional figure. And usually that's just measured in regular units. Okay, so how is that different than the area of a figure? Because area, we're still talking about a two-dimensional figure, but what, instead of trying to find the distance around, what is different? Exactly, it's the inside of the figure. So an area is actually measured in square units. So area is the square units inside. So now we're not talking about the outside, we're talking about the inside a 2D figure. Okay, so if we consider this example here, if we wanted to find the perimeter, we would need to go around and find the distance around the outside of that figure, okay? And if we were wanting to find the area, we would want to figure out, well, how many square centimeters can I fit inside? So we've got the area and the perimeter, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to give you the formulas first, and then we're going to go through and practice a few. So on perimeter, we're talking about that's the distance around. How do we find the distance around? That's right, we're going to add up all the sides. And in math, we call that find the sum. So the formula for perimeter is to find the sum, which in parentheses, I'm just going to remind myself that sum means to add. So find the sum around a figure. Okay, so we're going to add up all the sides around a figure. Okay, and so for the next 3, we're going to talk about how to find the area of a rectangle, the area of a triangle, and the area of a trapezoid. Okay, so the area of a rectangle, this should be a review. Area of a rectangle, how do you find the area? That's right, you're going to do either the area of a, and I'm going to just draw a little picture, area of a rectangle, you can either do length times width, or the area of a rectangle, you can do base times height, okay? Area of a triangle, does anyone remember how to find the area of a triangle? Area of a triangle. Okay, that's right. Some of you are remembering, it's base times height divided by 2. Okay, because if you think about it, to find the area of a rectangle, you do the base times the height. And if we take and we cut that triangle in half, cut that rectangle in half, we would still do base times height, but we only need half of it, and that's where we're going to do the base times height divided by 2. Okay? and the area of a trapezoid. Now, in case you don't remember a trapezoid is a figure that has, let me draw a picture over here, is a figure that maybe has two sides that are parallel to each other. The two bases are parallel to each other, okay, but not necessarily all four sides. So two parallel bases, and then typically the bases are two different sizes, and then you have a height, okay? So the formula for area of a trapezoid, so area, let me just draw a quick little picture of a trapezoid, is basically, guys, the same thing as a triangle. The only difference is we don't just have one base. There's not just one base that's the same length. We have two bases. So you're going to basically take your area of a triangle formula, and instead of just having one base, you're going to have two. So we're going to add those up. We're finding the average of those two. So base 1 plus base 2, we're still going to multiply times the height like we did in a triangle. But since we're needing to find the average of those two bases, we're going to divide by 2. Okay, so they're very similar. Triangle and a trapezoid. Triangle is base times height divided by 2, whereas area of a trapezoid, very similar, but you have two different bases. So base 1 plus base 2, then times the height, then we're dividing by 2. Okay, so let's try just a few practice problems, and you guys are going to see this is super simple. Okay, so our first problem is we have this triangle, okay? And just to remind us, the formula for area of a triangle, so our formula area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, okay? But one really important thing to notice is when you look at this triangle, instead of there just being two numbers, a base and a height, you see there are 3 numbers. So you have to be very careful because a lot of problems are going to give you more information than you need. So you're going to need to be able to look at the problem and decide which one of these is my base and which one is my height, and then what do I not need? So what I want you to think about is when you go to the doctor and they want to find your height, how do they usually find your height? That's right. They usually back you up to the back of the wall and they tell you to stand nice and tall. And what you're doing, your body is forming a right angle with the ground. If you're standing nice and tall, your body is going straight down and it's forming a right angle with the ground. Now, they wouldn't ask you to, hey, I want to take your height, and you wouldn't go and lean to the side and lean sideways to get your height. You want the height to be the one that's standing nice and tall, forming the right angle. So when you look with the ground. So when you look at this triangle, I want you to figure out which two numbers are perpendicular, which two numbers form a right angle with each other. That's right, the 4 and the 6. So the 4 is my height of my triangle. It's standing nice and tall, and it's forming a right angle with that base, which is 6. So what piece of information did I actually not need to know to find the area? Good, the 5. So I'm going to take those numbers and I'm going to substitute in. So to find the area, we're going to do base times height. So the base is 6 times the height is 4 divided by 2. So 6 times 4 is 24 and divided by 2. So my answer is 12 inches, and since it's area, inches squared. That's my answer. So to find the area of a triangle, you're just going to do base times height divided by 2, but you're looking for the two numbers. The base and the height have to form a right angle with each other, okay? So now, let's do a trapezoid. Okay, so we said the trapezoid formula, so go back to the top. At any point during your homework tonight, if you forget your formulas, use your mini lesson as a resource. Go back and find it. Don't give up. You got to keep trying until you figure out how to do these problems. So go back, look at your formulas. Go back and watch the video if you need to. Okay, so the formula for area of a trapezoid. Okay, we said it's basically the same as a triangle, except for we got two different bases here. We've got this long base and this short base. So my formula, I'm going to add the two bases, so base 1 plus base 2. I'm still going to multiply times the height. And what I'm needing to do is I'm needing to divide by 2 because I'm wanting to find the average between those two bases. So divide by 2. Okay, so base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. So let's plug that into our formula. So area of number 1, this trapezoid. So base 1, and guys, it doesn't really matter which one's base 1 and base 2. You have two bases there. Okay? So my two bases are 14 and 20. So 14 plus 20. And then we're going to do times the height. And remember, the height has to form a right angle. It's got to be standing nice and tall, perpendicular to the base. So my height there is 7. And then divide by 2. Okay? So when you put this in your calculator, you need to make sure that you're doing order of operations, because order of operations doesn't automatically happen when you punch in the calculator. So parentheses first. So 14 plus 20. Press equal. Then we're going to multiply times 2. Press equal, and then we're going to divide by 2. Excuse me. I'm sorry, Miss Kearney made a mistake. It's 14 plus 20 because I've got our two bases. Then times our height, and our height is actually 7. I misread that. Press equal, and then divide by 2. So my area of that trapezoid is 119 inches squared. Okay? All right, I'm going to do one more with you. Okay? So now let's actually look and see if we can pick a little bit more challenging problem to do together. Okay, let's look at the practice problems, and let's look at, I'm trying to look and see if there's, okay, we're actually just going to do that second one there. Okay, so the second one, we're still going to do the same thing. Base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. Okay, so we need to write this out. So 20 plus 22.5. So base 1 plus base 2 times the height. We want to find the average, so we're going to divide by 2. So let's put that in our calculator. So 20 plus 22.5. Press equal, times the height, press equal, and then divide by 2. Press equal. And I got 265.625 meters squared. All right? So just to recap, you're going to be going through some practice problems. Okay, you're going to be finding the area and perimeter of triangles and trapezoids. Perimeter, we want to add up the distance around the outside. The area is the inside. If you forget your formulas, go back to the formulas we wrote down. Okay, the key thing that I want you to remember is when you're doing the base times the height, or the B1 plus the B2 times the height, you want to pick the base and the height have to be perpendicular. So picture when you go to the doctor, you need the two that are forming a right angle with each other, standing nice and tall. That height has to stand nice and tall, okay? So what I want you to do is go back and now try any of the practice problems that we didn't do together, and then go ahead and try some of those practice problems on the right, and then go check the answer key. Try one, go check the answer key. Try one, go check the answer key. And don't forget tonight, if you get confused, you can always go back and watch the video, okay? So good luck, guys, and this is a shout out to those of you who love my sign off, so you know who you are. Peace out, Rainbow Trout. Love you, mean it. XOXO.